Have you ever wondered if there's a tax on being single? Or maybe a penalty for having too many pets? Well, buckle up because today we're diving into the absolutely mind-boggling world of tax laws that sound like they were written by someone who lost a bet. These aren't urban legends or April Fool's jokes. These are real, actual tax codes that exist right now, and some of them might literally cost you money without you even knowing it. I'm about to reveal 10 of the quirkiest, most bizarre tax laws that governments around the world have actually implemented. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your tax return the same way again. Some of these will make you laugh, others will make you question humanity's decision-making abilities, and at least one of them might save you from an unexpected bill. But before we jump into this tax carnival of confusion, let me ask you something. Have you ever been taxed for something so ridiculous that you couldn't believe it was real? Drop your stories in the comments because after today's list, I have a feeling we're going to have some incredible discussions. Let's start with our first mind-bender that's happening right here in the United States. Are you ready for this? In Alabama, there's a tax on playing cards. Yes, you heard that right. Every single deck of playing cards sold in Alabama gets hit with a 10-cent tax. This law dates back to 1927, and apparently, the state of Alabama decided that your Friday night poker game needed to contribute to the government coffers. The strangest part? This tax was originally implemented to fund old age pensions, which means every time someone bought a deck of cards, they were technically helping senior citizens retire. Talk about an unexpected way to give back to the community. But Alabama's card tax is just the beginning of our journey into tax law wonderland. Let's hop across the pond to the United Kingdom, where they've taken bathroom humor to a whole new level with their toilet tax. Now, this isn't exactly what you think. It's not a tax for using the bathroom. Instead, it's a tax on public toilets that local councils can impose on businesses. The logic goes something like this. If your business benefits from public foot traffic that uses public toilets, you should help pay for maintaining those facilities. While it makes some sense on paper, imagine explaining to your accountant that your coffee shop owes money because people need to use the restroom after drinking your lattes. Our third quirky tax comes from Germany, and it's going to blow your mind if you're a dog lover. Germany has a dog tax called the Hundesteuer, and it's not just a simple flat fee. The amount varies wildly depending on where you live and what kind of dog you have. In some cities, owning a second dog costs significantly more than the first one, as if the government is saying, one dog is fine, but two dogs? Now you're just showing off. The most fascinating part is that guide dogs and rescue dogs are often exempt, which shows that even the German tax system has a heart. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some cities charge more for certain breeds they consider dangerous. So, not only are you paying for having a pet, but you're paying based on what your pet looks like. Moving on to our fourth bizarre tax law, let's talk about Sweden's feminist tax policy that never quite happened, but almost did. Swedish politicians seriously considered implementing a tax on men for the privilege of using urinals in public restrooms. The reasoning was that since men have the biological advantage of being able to use urinals, which are cheaper to maintain than full toilet stalls, they should pay for this convenience. While this tax never actually passed, the fact that it was seriously debated in Parliament shows just how creative governments can get when they're looking for new revenue streams. Now let's dive into our fifth weird tax, and this one's going to hit close to home for anyone who's ever been through a breakup. In China, there's actually a divorce tax, officially called a deed tax, that applies when couples split their property during divorce proceedings. But here's the kicker. The tax is structured in a way that often makes it more expensive to get divorced than to stay married, at least from a financial perspective. Critics argue that this creates a financial barrier to leaving unhappy marriages, while supporters claim it encourages couples to work through their problems. Either way, it's probably the only tax in the world that your relationship status directly affects. Our sixth strange tax comes from France, and it's going to make you think twice about your next home renovation project. France has a window tax, or taxe sur les fenêtres, which is exactly what it sounds like. A tax based on the number of windows in your house. This law has historical roots dating back to when it was easier to count windows than assess property values, but it still exists in modified forms today. The unintended consequence? Some French homeowners have been known to brick up windows to avoid the tax, leading to darker homes but lower tax bills. Imagine choosing between natural light and saving money. That's a decision no homeowner should have to make. Let's talk about our seventh peculiar tax, which comes from the Netherlands and involves something most people never think about: cow flatulence. The Dutch government has implemented a livestock emission tax that essentially charges farmers for the methane their cows produce. While this might sound ridiculous, it's actually part of a serious environmental initiative to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Farmers have to calculate how much methane their livestock produces and pay accordingly. It's probably the only tax in the world where the phrase, "excuse me," after your cow burps could literally cost you money. Our eighth weird tax brings us to Belgium, where they've managed to tax something that doesn't even physically exist in the traditional sense: solar energy. Belgium charges a tax on solar panels, but here's the twist. They tax based on the theoretical income your solar panels could generate, regardless of how much energy you actually produce or use. So even if your solar panels are covered in snow for half the year, or you live in the cloudiest part of the country, you're still paying tax as if you're generating maximum solar energy year-round. It's like being taxed on the salary you could earn if you were the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, regardless of your actual job. Moving to our ninth bizarre tax law, we head to Russia, where there's a tax on being childless. The Soviet Union implemented this tax to encourage population growth, and while modern Russia has modified the approach, the concept still influences some regional policies. Single people and childless couples faced higher tax rates under the reasoning that they weren't contributing to society's future generation. While the original law has been largely phased out, some regions still maintain policies that provide significant tax breaks for families with children, effectively creating a reverse penalty for those without kids. Finally, our 10th and perhaps most absurd tax comes from ancient Rome, which technically doesn't exist anymore, but the concept has inspired modern lawmakers. Rome had a urine tax, called the vectigal urinae, charged to people who collected urine for various industrial purposes like cleaning clothes and tanning leather. The phrase, "money doesn't stink," actually comes from this tax. While no modern government charges for urine collection, some cities have implemented similar taxes on waste management and recycling that follow the same principle of taxing necessary but unpleasant services. These 10 tax laws prove that governments worldwide have incredibly creative minds when it comes to finding new revenue sources. From playing cards to cow gas, from windows to divorce, tax collectors have found ways to monetize almost every aspect of human existence. What's your take on these bizarre tax laws? Have you encountered any strange taxes in your area? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating insights into the weird world we live in. Until next time, keep your receipts. You never know what might be taxable next.